first thing we got to do is learn how to label this. Label triangles. So there's three sides in every triangle. One of them you already know when you learn Pythagorean theorem. Okay? So the Pythagorean theorem was don't have to write this down, a squared plus b squared is equals c squared. Remember that? Okay, what is c? It's what? Sorry. It is the hypotenuse. Yes. C is the hypotenuse. Where is the hypotenuse in a triangle, a right angle triangle? So this side, the longest side. Okay. So the hypotenuse is you can either remember it as the longest side or the side that is across from the right angle. Okay. So this is the hypotenuse. Okay. That never changes. All right. The hypotenuse always is in the same position. Now, if this is our angle X, all right, and you're standing right here, you can see my drawing skills here. Look at that. Should be an art teacher. If you stand at that angle and you look across, the side that you're looking at is the opposite. Okay? That is the opposite side. The side when you're at the angle that you're given or asked to find, and you look across, that is the opposite. The side that is beside you, right here, so if you look down, is called the adjacent. You can just remember A is adjacent, O is hypotenuse. We'll just call it O is opposite and H is hypotenuse. OA and H. All right. So we're going to practice this. I know it seems weird, simple, but if you can't label the triangle properly, you'll get every single question wrong. Okay? So this is important. All right. We got to label all three sides in these triangles. Here's our angle. What side never changes? The hypotenuse, right? Where's the hypotenuse in this triangle? This bit right here. Like this one. There's your hypotenuse. Does not change. Now, if you stand at the angle F or X, whatever you want to call it, and you look across, what side is that? Yeah, but what do we call it? Opposite. So this is the opposite. What's the only one left? Adjacent. Now you can see that if I was standing here, I'm not going to draw it in, but if you're standing here, like there, and that was the angle you were talking about, where would the opposite be? It'd be right here, right? So the opposite and the adjacent can change depending on what position you're in. Yeah. Ah, okay. Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. Yeah. So this angle or this triangle here, there we are there. Standing there. Where's the hypotenuse? At the top. Where is the opposite? Where? Where's the opposite? D and S, this bit right here, left. And then adjacent. Okay. Okay. All right. Next page, please. Whoops. Okay, trig functions. So, SOHCAHTOA. All right. Do you guys have your calculators? Do we have our calculators? On your calculator, there should be 3 buttons that look like sine, cosine, sine, cos, and tan. Okay? That's what it'll say on your calculator. Does everybody have those buttons? Those are the 3 trig functions. And they have a definition. Now, you can write it on your cheat sheet, but I'm going to put it up on the board so you don't have to remember. Now, the easy way to remember it is this, I would say word, but it's not a word. SOHCAHTOA. So what it means is, sine is equal to, so is the opposite side, whatever the length of that side is, over the length of the hypotenuse. So that's so sine is opposite over hypotenuse. I'm going to summarize this at the bottom so you don't have to write all this down, okay? Cosine is the adjacent side, the length of it, divided by the hypotenuse. That's the ka. And the tangent is the opposite over the adjacent, the toa. So I write my SOHCAHTOA. I'm just going to write it out. Sine. So if you notice, they drop the E. They just put sin. Okay. Sine is O over H. Opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine, cos, is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And the tan is the opposite over the adjacent. Now, what these should have in there is sine of angle x, cosine of angle x. I don't know why I didn't write those in. Tan of x, because it's the angle. So let's look at this second one here, second triangle. I'm just going to put numbers on it. I'm just making the numbers up. I don't care what they are, okay? I'm going to say that's 10. That doesn't look like a 4. We'll call it a 4, whatever. And this is 3. Let's make that 2. 2. So if I'm here, first thing you do is label the sides of a triangle. So if that's our angle, where's the opposite side? The 2. So this is the opposite. Where's the adjacent? 4. And the hypotenuse is 10. So now that you have it labeled, you can write out all your trig functions. So if I say, what is sine of x? The angle always goes with the trig function. So sine of x equals to, sine is what side over what side? Yes, O over H. What's the length of the opposite side? 2, right? So it's going to be 2 divided by, excuse me, what's the hypotenuse length? 10. It's 2 over 10. Okay, or 1/5, but we're not going to worry about that right now. If I ask for cosine of that angle, what side over what side of cosine? Okay, what's the length of the adjacent? Hypotenuse is 10. Tan. Yep. So it's what over what? There you go. That's okay. All right. I'm going to do one more practice, okay? Bottom one here. Here's our triangle. They've given us angle A. What's the first thing we do? Label the sides. Okay, label the sides, people. There you go. All right. Tell me what what is sine of A? 20 over 29. Opposite over. What is cosine of A? There you go. Adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent of A? How's that? First step, label all the sides. Second step, what am I saying? Oh, figure out your trig ratio. Okay? So let me write the sine. I'll just put x, but the letters might change in the body. Is off over hypotenuse. Tan of x is off over adjacent. And cosine of x is adjacent over hypotenuse. All right, questions I want you to do are three. You know what? Just do three. Three and seven. Sorry, 3 and 7. I lied. 3 and 7.